Hello, Caddie Network fans. This is your host for the Caddies United Happy Hour podcast, Aaron Flener. I'm a caddy for JT Poston on the PGA Tour. Lucky to be joined this week by our featured guest, Mr. Joe Horowitz. Joe is a musician and a former professional golfer on the Canadian Tour. We got a great show this week, and we're going to talk a little bit about a couple things both of us love a lot, music and golf. And we might even twist Joe's arm into singing a couple. So without further ado, let's go. Joe, how you doing, man? Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, man. I'm doing as good as you can expect in what we're calling this pandemic, for sure.
Yeah, I hear that. Now you're up in New York, correct?
Yeah, beautiful New York. Not the greatest place on the planet to be right now, for sure. But I'm about 20 miles from Manhattan, so I'm thankfully, out of the epicenter or whatever they're calling it, place in Long Island. So we're like I said, we're out of the main portion of it, but still a lot of hard. Certainly the virus has come out in our town, and
right.
It stretches far out on the end of Long Island too. So thankfully my family's healthy and got 2 little kids. They're healthy, and that's all you can ask for really at this time.
I'm sure those kids are keeping you pretty busy, huh?
Yeah, I'm now a official teacher. I am a nanny. As my kids always say, you're not babysitting us, you're just being a dad. And I said, okay. Careful. Yeah.
You're doing what you're supposed to do. Yeah. Gotcha.
Right.
Well, luckily I'm in Tennessee, and we've had some pretty good weather, and our golf courses are still open. So I've been getting back into actually playing golf, which has been a nice reminder on how hard it is. Gives me a new appreciation for how really good those guys are that we're around week in and week out. So, I thought we're going to talk a little bit about your album called Save Yourself. You guys can go check that out on Spotify or iTunes or anywhere else, Joe.
Yeah, wherever, all the places where they sell it. The only place you can't go to is Tower Records. I don't think they exist anymore.
Gotcha. Yeah, so you guys go check him out, man. He's a super talented guy. Like I said, he used to play golf professionally, and he's a great musician. So, in that same line, I had a couple questions for you, Joe. I was gonna ask if you had to choose between golf and music for the rest of your life, you can only do one of them. Which one are you going with?
That's a very easy question for me, and it's always going to be music. Golf, in music you can play bad notes, or you can sort of miss a word or miss a lyric, and it doesn't really affect your what you're going to get paid or how you're going to enjoy the show.
Right.
But golf. In golf, you can chunk a 300 in the water and miss the cup by a shot, and you don't get a paycheck that week.
Right.
I've also found music to be a little easier for me to do without, not that you don't have to put hard work into music you do, especially in the song creation process.
Right.
But I can put the guitar down for 2 weeks, come back, play a song, and feel pretty good. I put the golf clubs down for 2 weeks. It's like I've never touched a club in my entire life. So, that aspect for me, music is definitely something I would trade. I wouldn't trade.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it's definitely something you can do forever. You could have an injury and not be able to play golf anymore, but music's always going to be there. And I think music probably reaches the most people as well. Everybody likes music. Not everybody loves golf. So I think it's a good call.
It is. The thing is too about music, it's a lot more congenial than golf, and a lot more like, they're traveling on tour, which, we've both done. There's certainly a group of guys that, you show up on the first tee, and if you're not sort of in their practice round group, you sort of get the funny looks like, what are you doing here, dude? We have the 8-15. And you definitely felt sort of like an outsider. I don't think that's ever happened in music, where you show up at an event or on stage and somebody's like, what's this dude doing here?
Right.
Like, everybody's like, yeah, come on in, man, sit in, join, grab a guitar, grab a piano, grab a kazoo. It really doesn't matter. Like, whatever instrument is available, sit there and join in and join the party. There's a lot, and listen, there's a lot of competitive music, but it's a very different vibe than, in golf. Like, I've seen it, I'm sure you've seen it. There's just so many people, like, and they're great guys. I'm not knocking golfers. Trust me, I'm one of them. I know tons of them. But it seems to me that in music, everybody's rooting everybody else on. Everybody wants everybody to do great. In golf, there's that little bit of like jealousy. Like, that guy just won. I need to win. How come I haven't won?
Yeah, he hits it further than me. I would need to work out more and hit it further than him. And
yeah. And again, it's not a knock on the sport because I'll play the game till I die and I love it. But I feel like musicians are a little less edgy than golfers.
Yeah, there's a little less competition there in music, I feel like.
Yeah, and again, it's part of that is the reality of it, right? Like, I mean, part of it, you can go off and make a record, and it doesn't. What other people are doing doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah, two records can be great and win, and golf, two people can't win.
Sure. So I mean, listen, there's comparisons up the wazoo for golf and music, but I've always liked that word wazoo. I haven't used it in a while.
What was your background? Like, how did you get into music? What made you, love it?
We've always played it in our family. I've come from a family of musicians. My uncles are famous classically trained pianists. Not that relates to, sort of alternative rock music or whatever. I play country / Americana. But it's always been part of our family at family gatherings. And then, to be honest, in college, there was a guy who lived next door to me. I've said this story before. There's a guy who lived next door to me. He was a weird-looking dude, and he always had, the ladies going in and out of his room. And he opened up. One day, the doors open, and there's like 3 guitars on the wall. And I'm like, that's the guy's secret. I swear to God, this is a true story. Guy's name was Gary. I won't give up his last name, but he went to University of Richmond with me. And I literally started to play music because, I'm not like Brad Pittish in the face. So I needed alternatives to meet, women, to be completely honest. And then I just started loving it and started to do shows in college. And then when I played on, the Canadian tour and the South American tour and Tour de Las Americas, all those other ones, I would set up shows at a lot of the tournaments on, like the Monday and Tuesday night, get into town. Monday morning, and I would go to like a bar in Edmonton or Calgary and convince the guy, like, I could bring in probably 40 or 50 drunk golfers tonight. Give me $5 a pop. And,
that's awesome.
Yeah, he'd always do it. And, then it morphed into, like, I really enjoyed it. I started writing my own music, and you start getting involved in, like, that's the guy who used to play golf and plays music. You get all like the Monday after the Masters invites and
that's so fun.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff. So, in a nutshell, that's basically how I started. I know it's not maybe the stock answer or the greatest answer to tell your children, but
you did it. You did it for the ladies, man. That's respectable.
Yeah.
I thought about getting a keyboard myself during this when this all started and trying to learn, but I didn't know how feasible that would be.
It's so funny you said that. I get so many calls in the last couple of weeks from my friends who were like, "Hey, I just bought a guitar for the first time," or "I bought a keyboard. Like, how do I learn?" And there are so many great apps and YouTubes and stuff. Like, go on and Google it, and you can learn how to be, honestly, in this quarantine for the next however many weeks. Like, if you can learn 3 or 4 chords, you could play like 1,000 songs. So,
okay.
I highly recommend it.
I saw some keyboards that have the keys that like light up when you're supposed to hit them.
Yeah, that's basically like the Rodney Dangerfield character in Caddyshack. Like,
I could be playing Mary Had a Little Lamb in no time, I feel like.
Yeah, I would aim higher if I were you. But yes, you could definitely be playing music quickly.
Well, that's awesome. What's you know how you said you play a lot of the pro-ams and stuff, and I got to thinking, I was like, man, I bet he's played some pretty cool, like in some pretty cool situations, just like even if it was just like 6, 7 people around. What would you say is like the coolest experience that music has given you?
That's it's a very good question. I'd say there are two of them that are up there pretty close. I was doing a show at the Players Championship. Had to be like 2017, and it was a back porch of a guy named Steve John who runs the AT&T. Great guy, good friend of mine, and it was just sort of a little back porch patio, a bunch of PGA Tour executives and that sort of thing. And this guy comes up to me. I've never seen him before, and he's like, "Hey," he's like, "you're pretty good. If you ever want to sing the anthem at a Jaguars game, Jacksonville Jaguars, let me know." And I'm like, all right, whatever. So I take his card, put it in my pocket. I don't know who this guy is, So
Yeah.
I finished the show and I looked in my pocket and I was like, oh, he's the president of the Jaguars. I'm like, that's kind of cool. So I sent him an email like the next day and I'm like, hey, if you're serious, like, I'd love to do it. I'm a big football fan and, Patriot. I love, not a New England Patriot. I support, our country. And I would love to do. I think it'd be a great honor. And he's like, he's like, pick a game. I'm like, okay. So I picked the game. I went and did the national anthem. It was Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Cincinnati Bengals. And actually, the night before, Colt Ford did a show at Daly's place, and I opened for Colt, who's become a buddy through golf.
Right.
So I did the anthem, and there's a funny part of it. I was walking out, with my guitar, right, and walking out to the field, and the microphone's out there, and obviously everybody's in their uniforms, and this giant offensive lineman. So keep in mind, this is in the heart of like the anthem controversy.
Right. When they're
So I'm walking out, and this giant offensive lineman stops me, right, and he's like, "Are you the one singing the anthem?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I got a guitar and walking to the microphone." He's like, "Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not standing." And I was like, "Hey, man, like," and this guy's like 350 pounds. I was like, "Hey, man, you can do whatever you want." And he's like, "Nah, I'm just kidding." And he sort of like, yeah, he sort of like calmed me down, like sort of broke the ice a little bit. And because the one thing you worry about when you're doing the national anthem is like forgetting the words.
Right.
Because there's 75,000 people plus however many people on TV are watching.
Yeah.
And my goal was to not forget the words. And thank God I did not forget the words. And I think the anthem performance went well. So that was definitely one of them. And then at the AT&T one year, I'm trying to keep these around golf. At the AT&T one year, I got to sing "The Weight" from the song from the band.
Yeah.
On stage with Toby Keith, Clint Eastwood. Who else was there? Pat from Train, Jake Owen, Joe Don. There was a bunch of us, 6 or 7 of us on stage, and we got to sing "The Weight" together from the band. And like, I'm arm in arm with Clint Eastwood and Toby.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and I'm like, I swear I remember thinking at this time, like, how the hell did this happen? Like, this little dude, half Jewish golfer, musician guy from Long Beach, New York. Like, how do I end up getting on stage with Clint Eastwood and Toby Keith playing a Southern rock song? And it was just like, God, the game of golf, man, it's been so good to me.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
We might have to get you to give us a little bit of that song.
I would need preparation. I haven't played that song in probably since then, which is 3 or 4 years ago. But that's a great one. That's a great song. One of the all-time great.
I knew when we had talked a little bit, and you kind of told me what you liked. I was like, I bet he likes that song a lot.
Oh yeah, great man, great song.
That's cool. So what's the coolest thing golf's ever done for you? What's the coolest experience you've had playing golf?
As far as like being on a golf course and competition, that sort of thing, I won a couple tournaments in Bermuda, professional tournaments. It's called the Goslings Invitational. sort of a barbecue tour event, right? Because it's not a sanctioned event. But there were some good players, right? And maybe 70 or 80 pros, and a couple nationwide players, whatever. That was probably the biggest tournament I won. But I think golf, as far as experiences go, being able to play music, and then while you're I played music at the British Open the last couple of years, and on the way over, we played Port Marnock and Royal County Down, and I went over with my coach when I was playing golf. I worked with these two guys, Mike Miles and Jamie Mulligan, and Jamie works with Patrick Cantley and Luke List and a host of other players. Jamie and I, we go over before the British Open about 4 or 5 days, and we just sort of trail up the coast. And I do a couple shows in Dublin with a friend of mine, Adrian, who's the drummer for No Doubt. I'm not name dropping here, but it's just honestly what's happening.
Yeah, no, that's fun.
So I think the coolest experience that golf has given me is being able to mix golf with the music. So being able to play Royal County Down with Luke List and Jamie on the way up to playing music at the British Open in Portrush. That's I don't know,
it's each one gives you an opportunity to do the other one. You get golf opportunities through music and music opportunities through golf. It's
and I try,
cool.
I really try not to mix the two when it comes to music, as far as content of the songs I play. I can't tell you how many times I've been asked, oh, can you do a song about Double Bogey Blues? I'm I just can't. I have too much respect for what musicians do and music, and sort of how I'm trying to make it as a musician, and how I'm sort of I feel like once you do that, you're sort of that guy.
Yeah, like John Daly's Hit It Hard.
Yeah, that. And I'm not knocking it, right? I'm not knocking it. If that's what you want to do it. Amazing, fantastic. But I find it hard, if you're going to write that song, I find it hard to write a heartfelt song and have them believe you.
Yeah.
So,
no, for sure.
It's one thing, Toby has a song called Shitty Golfer, but Toby sold 500 million records. He could do whatever he wants.
Right. He sold a song about a red Solo cup.
Yeah, right. He can do whatever he wants. I'm not there yet where I have carte blanche with sort of
Right. I always thought it would be fun if we could put together a caddy band, but I don't know how to play an instrument, and I don't know if any caddies are watching this and you can play an instrument. I just felt like it would be cool if we could go play pro-am parties every week or something, and just have something to do on a Tuesday night. But
I've done some of these shows where they're they ask you to sit in and play guitar because whatever, it's a big show, and let's call it Darius is up there playing, and they're like, yeah, just go sit in the back and play guitar. We want everybody on stage, and it's a song that I don't know how to play. I've never heard, so right. I just turn the volume down and pretend I'm playing, right? so you could totally do that, right? You could just get a guitar, get on stage. You're a great singer, right? I've heard you sing, so you can get up there and sing and just pretend you're playing. Just turn the music down, turn the volume down. Just sit there.
It's like me when JT gets on the greens, I pretend like I'm helping him read the putts when I'm really not.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Do a couple squats and look around and then just walk away. So obviously you've done a lot of cool stuff in music and golf, and I was wondering what's left on your music bucket list and your golf bucket list, maybe a place you want to play golf or a place you want to play music.
Yeah, I think on the golf bucket list, it's not so much a place, but it is I've definitely given up my professional dreams of being on the PGA Tour full time, but I still want to play in a U.S. Open or a British Open or both. I missed the U.S. Open a couple of years ago by a shot, bogeyed the last hole with a lob wedge. Not that I'm bitter, not that I'm bitter or anything.
Brutal.
Brutal and stuck in my craw. And, it's not like I'm expecting to, if I sneak in the Open, I'm going to get my card and finish 10th and get through Q school. Like, no,
No.
But I want to play in the US Open. I want to play in the British Open. I think selfishly, it would do great things for my music because it would, get you in front of a lot of people. And I've always thought it's important to be known as a musician who plays golf, not a golfer who plays music.
Right.
Because, and I've said this a lot. It's like, if Phil Mickelson makes an album, it's going to be hard to take seriously.
Right.
If Jason Isbell qualifies for the U.S. Open, it's a damn good story, So,
right.
So those are my two goals from a golf standpoint, and musically, like I want to be able to play music for my whole life, right? Like, I think to be able to do that, you have to get a little more commercially known, right? Like I have a nice little life, I have a day job too, and we never really spoke about this, but I help run the Pure Insurance Championship at Pebble Beach, which is the Champions Tour event.
Yeah.
For the brand Pure, for Pure. So I work for Pure, manage all their golf activation, PGA Tour partnerships, help grow their business through a bunch of different member engagement type of events, which thankfully helps me pay for my children's food. And then, from a musical standpoint, I'm very fortunate that I get to do a lot of fun things. But I would be lying to you if I didn't tell you that I don't think I've done what I'm capable of doing in music. With this new record, I feel like there's some really good songs in there, and it's not about like, oh, I want to be famous, or oh, I want to make $1 million. It's like, right. I just think they're good songs, and I want people to hear them. And the people who have heard them, whether they're friends or people I've never met before, I think they're digging them. And all you want as a musician is for people to tell you to keep writing, right? That's all you ever want is the ability to keep writing your songs and telling your stories and connecting, right? You just want to connect with your audience. That's all you ever want. So those are my goals in music, just to be able to keep writing and keep playing and for people to keep asking me to play, right? Like that's what success means in music, is that they keep asking you to do it. In my opinion. Yeah.
Let's hear one. You want to play something from the Save Yourself album real quick?
Sure. Yeah, I would love to.
All right. Let's hear one.
I would love to. So this is the title track. And a quick 20-second story how this album was made. The drummer who played for this album is my friend Adrian, who is the drummer for No Doubt. Has had a pretty successful career, obviously.
Yeah.
And the other gentleman that helped me produce it, a guy named Todd Foreman, and he played keys and sax on it. He was in Sublime, the band. And I met Adrian through golf, through Jamie Mulligan, my coach, because Jamie also coaches Adrian. Adrian's a hell of a player himself. Adrian's a scratch golfer, and we met through that. We started doing some shows together, and we talked about making a record, and we finally made this record. And I made it last year, released it right around the U.S. Open. I did a little release party at the U.S. Open. I did a big show out there the week of the U.S. Open, and I've just been sort of promoting the album since then. And this song called "Save Yourself" is the title track, and it's a heart wrencher for sure. It's definitely not a pick me up. We'll call it that.
All right.
So here you go. I'll let you listen to it. It's called "Save Yourself."
Do it.
Here you go. I've been lost for all of my life. I've been loving you. Oh, for all of my life. Don't go loving me, 'cause I won't feel the same. Don't go needing me, 'Cause I wanted you. Save yourself. Won't you save yourself from loving me? Now, I've been wrong. Oh, for all of my life, I've been missing you. Oh, for all of my life, don't go missing me. 'Cause I won't feel the same. Don't wanna leave me. 'Cause I won't believe in you. Save yourself. Just save yourself from loving me. And now, won't you save yourself, yourself, yourself? Won't you save yourself, yourself, yourself? Oh, loving you is not easy to do when you don't see. But I'm down to you. There's no saving me. All I want from you is somebody else who will have you and hold you, rock you and roll. Save yourself, yourself, yourself. Won't you save yourself, yourself, yourself? Save yourself. Just save yourself from loving me. And now, won't you save yourself, yourself, yourself? Won't you save yourself, yourself, yourself?
Yeah. Awesome, man.
There you go.
What a jam. Did you see me get my cell phone flashlight out for a minute?
I did see that. That was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the new lighters, right?
I'll take it, man.
In the stadium.
I'll take it.
Dude, that's a great song. I really like slower ballads where dudes just really, wail on it vocally. That's definitely one of those.
Well, next time we'll do it together.
Sounds good. Yeah, we're a little technologically challenged here. We were gonna do one together when we were practicing it before, and certain things cut out on the Zoom, and so another time though, maybe sometime when we can be in the same place at the same time, we'll throw something together.
For sure, man. Absolutely.
So obviously it's Caddie Network. I got to ask you. So back when you're playing on the Canadian tour and all these different tours, and I wondered if you had any good stories about any caddies that you ever had along the way.
Oh yeah, for sure. One of them sticks out. We were playing the Del Rio Open, and the Canadian tour, we used to start in Texas, work our way through California, Mexico, Then we get to Canada by June when the weather changes up there. And we were playing in Modesto, California, at the Del Rio Country Club. It was called like the Rio Farms Classic or something like that. This had to be, 2007, 8, something like that. And, most guys in the Canadian Tour didn't travel with their own caddy. We just didn't make enough money. So we would a lot of times get a local kid, a high school kid, or somebody who was sort of, connected to the game of golf, one of the members of the club. And I'll never forget this tournament. I had a high school kid, and he couldn't make the practice rounds, right? Which is never a good sign.
No.
So the first time I'm meeting him is literally the first tee because he couldn't make the driving range either. The warm-up session. So I'm already annoyed.
Right.
I already don't like this 17-year-old kid. I never met him. So we get to the first hole. I hit my tee shot, and I'm walking up with the other two caddies and the other two players. And I hear in the background, like, my caddy is talking to somebody. And I'm like, who the hell could he be talking to? I turn around. He's on his cell phone. Right? So I turn around. I was like, yo. And he gives me one of these. He's like, just a minute. So I was like, nope. So I go over, right? And I take the phone out of his hand, and I hit the end button, right? And I was like, here, you can have your phone. I was like, give me your bib right this second, like right now. So he gives me his bib, and we didn't have big crowds in the Canadian Tour, but we had a few people walking around.
Sure.
There was another kid in the crowd with like a Titleist hat and like a Titleist backpack, like total golf nerd. And I walk over. I shit you not, true story. I walk over, and he's with his dad. I was like, do you know how to caddy? And he's like, yeah. I was like, do you want to caddy? He goes, yeah. I'm like, you're hired. So I pulled the kid out of the crowd.
You hired someone on the first hole.
Oh, I mean, after one shot. Yeah, one shot. One shot. And actually, the kid was a great caddy. Ended up making the cut. His parents cooked for me like 4 nights in a row.
That's amazing.
But I fired that kid so fast. Yeah.
I think that's the cool thing about those tours. I worked a year on the Latin American tour in 2015 when I first started. And I think those stories, there's so many cool stories like that on those tours where, you just pull somebody out of the crowd, or like there's a volunteer that caddies for you, and like you build relationships with those people that end up being like long-term friendships. And it's just really funny how golf can do that.
Yeah, that was definitely, I will never forget that. I'm still annoyed at this kid. I guarantee you he's still annoying people around him too, whatever he's doing right now.
Oh, I bet his parents were probably making him do it or something, if I had to guess. He was probably relieved that you fired him.
Yeah, he certainly was. Yeah. That, by the way, that same tournament, this is a true story. You used to get like a locker for, in the locker room, and they would always give you one of the members' lockers for the week.
Yeah. And
I got Scott Peterson's locker that week. I don't know if you know who that guy is, but there was a murder case. Scott and Lacey Peterson.
Oh, yeah.
This dude, like, he killed his wife, right? And
is that the staircase guy?
What'd you say?
Is that the guy from the staircase?
I don't remember. No, he was like, I don't know what he did, but he definitely got arrested for killing his wife. Like 7 months after this tournament. So I never met the guy, but I looked him up, and I was like, Scott Peterson's got to be the same guy. It was the same guy. So I'm like, I'm going to get subpoenaed in a murder case because my DNA is in this dude's locker. And like, I think he's the one who like took, I don't want to get graphic or whatever, but look up the story. It's a bad story.
Right.
That was a complete maniac, murder, right? I mean, got to be a maniac.
Yeah.
But I had his locker, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm gonna be like somehow involved in this murder case, but I was never involved.
That is wild.
Yeah, that was a crazy week. Gosh.
Well, that was all my questions. Did you have any questions for me, or
well, I do have
you wondered about?
No, I do have a question for you. We have a mutual friend, right? Our boy Matty Irwin.
Oh yeah.
Who I've played many a flip cup, many a beer pong game with when I lived in Scottsdale. One of my favorite people. He's an incredible guy. And he wanted me, I asked for some background on you because I don't want to just ask the vanilla questions like, how'd you get started in caddying, Aaron?
You asked him. I'm kind of worried about what you're about to ask.
So one of the questions, I want to hear about the Hawaii missile crisis alert thing.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess that was my first year on the PGA Tour. I was working for Steven Yeager, and we made the cut in at Sony, and we were teeing off a little bit later on Saturday, and so me and Irwin are sharing a hotel that week, and first of all, we didn't get 2 beds like you're supposed to. We got a king bed, and then we had to ask for a pull-out, which was tiny. And so, Irwin's smaller than me. So I was like, I'll just take the bed, whatever. And so about halfway through the week, he's like, we got to switch beds, bud. He was like, it's not fair. He's like, you got to sleep on this little one. So anyways, I wake up on this little twin rollaway bed, and both of our phones are going nuts at the same time. And pick them up, and it says like, missile crisis or something. I forgot. I have the text saved somewhere. And so basically, we think a missile's coming at Hawaii.
Jeez.
And at like 8 a.m, and we're both just laying there, and he's like, what should we do? I was like, dude, I don't know. It's a missile. Like what? Well, I don't think going downstairs in the hallway is going to help much. I was like, I guess we'll just stay here and, see what happens. Like, hopefully it's just a false alarm. And so, I'm like kind of texting people back at home. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I was like, apparently a missile is heading our way. And I didn't text my parents because I knew my mom would just flip out. And so, but there was, finally they sent another text that said, that was, false alarm, like, sorry, basically, like we messed up. And but there's like probably, I think it was about 37 minutes there where everybody's just kind of on edge, like what's going on. And so
you can't really hide under a twin bed and get protected.
No, I was like, I guess I'll just stay in bed. I don't know. And so I remember I had to go work, and so, but I had this idea. I was like, dude, we should make T-shirts saying we survived the Hawaii missile crisis of 2008, 17, 8, whatever year it was.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to the course. I was like, I can't do it, but like, here's my idea. I like texted it to him what it should say, and like, so his guy had missed the cut, and so he's like running around all day on Saturday trying to get these T-shirts made. And he ended up only getting 3 of them made. He got one made for me, him, and Tom Lovelady, who he was caddying for at the time, got him one made. And looking back, if we could have mass produced them, we could have sold 1 million of them, because we're walking around in them that night. And that's the only time I've known what it like really felt like to be a celebrity, because people were like seeing it, like laughing, stopping us, taking pictures with us. It was a pretty funny thing. But yeah, Irwin made that happen for us while I was out working.
I got a buddy in North Korea. Why don't you make the T-shirts, and then I'll just send a little note. We can have another crisis. And then
the crisis.
Crisis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, I'm not busy right now, so we could I need a little way to make money. So.
Not the worst idea.
Yeah. All right. Well, dude, how about one more song for us?
Sure. Do you want to do? I'm a big Chris Stapleton fan.
Yes. Love Stapleton.
And this is funny. So I'll show you how hard music is to break into music and make a career at it. And you probably know the story. Most people maybe do. But so Chris Stapleton was a songwriter, in Nashville for 12, 15 years before any fame, any success, whatever. And he's got arguably the best voice of our generation, right?
Oh, it's incredible.
yeah, if you're into that sort of like grit style, you know, like soulful everything.
Yeah.
So you got that guy, right, who's writing the most beautiful songs. He wrote "Drink a Beer," Luke Bryan. He wrote "Whiskey and You" that Tim McGraw made famous, right?
Yeah.
He's got the voice, he's got the songs, and he can't get famous, right? He can't, not famous, it's a bad word. He can't have success, monetary success. So what song makes him famous?
Tennessee Whiskey.
Okay, you know who wrote that song? Stapleton.
Yeah. He wrote it?
No, he didn't write it.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I thought it was an old cover that he did.
It's an old cover, and for what I think David Allan Coe wrote it, or one of the three-letter country guys that I always forget the names of, or excuse me, three name country guys, which is going to sound really terrible. Please edit that out. But he didn't write it, and then he got famous from that song. Like
after he'd written all those other great ones.
Yeah. So it's literally like, there is no formula for it. There's no, you know, this is how you do it. Like it just happens or it doesn't happen. And like I said, I think, you know, you have to measure your own success in music to have any sort of comfort around, you know, your career. So, and you have to measure it differently, like than other people. So anyway, enough chit chat. Here's one of my favorite Chris Stapleton cover / song.
All right.
He made famous. So there you go. Tennessee Whiskey.
Cole used to spend my nights out in the ballroom. It was the only love that I'd ever known. Oh, but you rescued me from reaching for the bottle. Brought me back the air to fall on. You're as smooth as Tennessee Whiskey. You're as sweet as strawberry wine. You're as warm as glass brandy. Honey, our hearts still strong on your love all the time. Oh, you know I look for love, all those same old places. From the bottom of the crowd, it's always that. Oh, but when you took out my heart, almost there's nothing like your love keeps me warm. Yours, oh, it's Tennessee Whiskey. You're a sweet strawberry wine. You're as warm as glass brandy. I stay strong on your love all the time. Oh, it's Tennessee Whiskey. Oh, Tennessee Whiskey. Tennessee Whiskey.
Yes, sir. Nice, man. I love that song. It's hard to sing. His range is spectacular.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of whiskey on the road.
Yeah, dude. I always want to sing Stapleton songs, but it's like I just can't hit some of the spots that he hits, and it's So I just don't even try.
He does some great stuff with his voice, man. And I think you just can't do exactly what he does, but as long as you sort of stay in the same ballpark, that's sort of been what I do.
His wife's super talented too. I'm sure you've heard her sing with him before, man. It's
Morgan,
very talented couple.
Yeah, it's so funny. I would say my two favorite artists, right now have that same dynamic with Jason Isbell and Amanda Shires, and Chris Stapleton and his wife Morgan with an E, as she calls herself.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of duets and that sort of stuff. One of my favorite songs of all time, Leather and Lace with Stevie Nicks and Don Henley. Even remember that Sheryl Crow and Kid Rock song, Picture?
Yeah.
Yeah. There are some like killer duets out there, and I love the dynamic of a man and a woman, in a song, because if you think about it, all men write songs about women. So why not?
Right. About women and to get women. That's why they write them.
That's the truth too. That is for sure.
Well, man, I really enjoyed this. I've enjoyed, getting to know you a little bit. I know that we have some mutual friends, but man, I hope to see you along the way at some point, and we'll put out a video for the people at some point.
Yeah, man, 1,000%. I feel the same, and I've heard your name a number of times because, as you can imagine, like I'm out on tour doing some of these music shows around golf. They're always like, "Man, have you played with Flener? He's got the best voice." And I said, I'd love to. I'd love to do it. So now that we know each other, next time, I don't know, whenever this thing, gets past us, I'm sure we'll be at one of the events and we'll reach out. If I could say one thing, I've been doing these Sunday night shows, actually right here out of my garage.
Yeah.
On Instagram, we do 8:30 on Sunday nights, and it's not fully a plug for me, but what's happened is I started, doing these things just to sort of keep myself busy and keep a connection with some of my friends, who are abroad or whatever. And I started getting people interested in, like, they want to sponsor the concert. And I'm like, I don't really feel kind of weird doing that, but why don't we, whatever money you wanted to put in, what we're doing is we're buying restaurant gift certificates and giving them to first responders and healthcare workers.
That's awesome.
So it's great because you help the restaurants because they're going through a tough time, and obviously we want to support the healthcare workers, first responders, public works workers, and over this coming Sunday will be the 7th one we're doing. Last week we gave like $1,500 worth of stuff away.
That's amazing, dude.
It's amazing. I mean, people, and I don't want to throw brands out there because whatever, but like Notorious Pink, this rosé, every week they're giving a few $100. Ship sticks, which around the game of golf, my buddy founded this company. He calls me, he's like, "Dude, I want to give you $500 to give out," and I'm like, out of the woodwork, Kendra Scott, the jeweler, like all these people are like, we want to get involved and support, and it's sort of become, that's what music is, that's what golf is. It's a conduit to do good things, right?
Yeah.
And so again, I'm selfishly promoting it because I want people to listen so we can give more of these things out,
Yeah, it's great. I tuned in a couple weeks ago. Jeff Quinney, another mutual friend of ours, texted me and said, "Hey, check this guy out. Like, he does these every Sunday night." And I mean, that was even before I knew we were going to do this. So this is it was really cool, man.
Well, side note about Jeff Quinney, we could do 7 episodes about Jeff Quinney's stories.
Yeah, yes, we could. Legend.
Yeah. So again, not to selflessly promote, but it's been crazy. Last week, somebody from Seattle won, and we got a meal for a healthcare worker in Seattle, a healthcare worker in Texas. So it's really like, it's amazing what the world of golf does and the world of music does. And
and tell them what is your Instagram handle, that way they can find you.
Yeah, just it's Joe Horowitz Muse, M-U-S-E. And the cool thing, like, social media is nuts, right? There's a bunch of maniacs on it, and people are awful, and these Twitter, these warriors say the worst things on the planet. But I gotta say, man, like, they're in this little chat room, like, you can watch all these people. and I'm watching people that I know from, you know, Australia or Ireland, and I'm like, if these people could get in the same bar, they would be best friends. You know,
Right.
like, and to watch these people sort of communicate like on the same little thread, it's incredible. And like, again, social media, there's some awful parts of it, but there's some really incredible parts of like
Yeah.
Instagram and watching even what we're doing now. Like, you know, you're a dude in Nashville and I'm a guy here in New York. We would have never met, you know,
Right.
we would have never, you know, shared a beer together and talked about music, but because these platforms exist and we're both trying to do something good, and it's just crazy. There's so anyway, it's 8:30 Sunday nights. Yeah, I'll be right here in this actual garage. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, social media recently, there was a tornado in Nashville pretty bad. And through social media, I was able to organize a group of about 70, ended up being 70 something people. We raised like $12,000 to give to a charity here, which never would have happened without that. So
Awesome. That's awesome.
It's cool, and you can use it for awesome stuff and to meet new people and stay in touch with people that maybe you can't see as much. And, you know, sometimes I'm like you, I get frustrated with, you know, the negativity that can be on there. But, you know, if you use it for good, it can be really powerful.
Yeah, you gotta pluck the good berries off the bush, and that's it.
Right. Well, guys, thanks for tuning in. Again, go check out Joe's album, Save Yourself. Joe Horowitz. Joe, thanks for taking the time, man. It's been awesome getting to know you, and hope to see you along the way somewhere.
I feel the same way, Aaron. Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
All right. See you guys.
Cheers.